Hi, Suzy.
Hi, Joe.
How's it going?
It's great.
Yay.
I'm so happy,
I am too, Suzy.
especially to be here.
And I'm happy that there's no snow on the ground.
Yes, well, the rain took it away.
The rain took it all away. It's strange that it's raining in February, but okay. Weird. Today we're going to talk about how you can get people to submit data to you, and then 2 ways that you can get it to you, plus the way that it comes out of the box. So these are questions like you want to send a survey to people, like how did I do? Or you want to send, you want to get people to be able to provide you information, say before an appointment or before a meeting, things like that, right?
I got it.
So there's a provision in the Microsoft platform called Forms, or it's an app called Forms.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basically a drag and drop form builder. And you can make your own forms that you're able to then like pass out to people, outside people too, and then let people fill out information and then submit it back to you.
And how do they submit it back if they're not a Microsoft Teams person?
You just send them a link, and then it doesn't matter. It could be either just inside the company or like your organization, or it could be just anonymous on the outside.
And so when they fill it out, it just comes back in?
Correct. Pretty neat, right?
Do you have any idea how timely this is?
Yes, this is very, so I'm going to share my screen. So when you log in to the Office portal, you get to this, right?
Okay.
Where you've had the documents you've opened and recent files and everything. So they'll also show in this list here of things that you've recently worked on and opened. So and the little F is the forms icon with like a page behind it.
Kind of.
But the way that you can get to it, there's this button here on the left rail called All Apps.
Got it.
You hit that, and then it brings up this big list, and here's Forms right here.
Got it.
And then you go to Forms. Okay. So now you have all these forms you've worked on, things you've kept, whatever. So I'm going to show you 3 things.
You can create your first.
You need to make your first, right? So creating it's very easy. You just hit New Form, and then you start just putting in the fields you want. So I'll show you with the first one I made here.
All right.
So I made us a form called Suzy and Joe.
Okay.
And so it's very simple information. What's your name? Email, what's the date?
Okay.
Adding fields is very easy. There's this giant add new button here.
Got it.
You just hit it, and then you get all these options of fields. This will be a choice field, text field, a rating field, a date field. You can let them do, this only works inside the organization, file upload, so that's a little misleading. You can't let outside people do it yet.
Okay.
You can do a ranking field, net promoter score, and the Likert rating that you can get about, feelings about topics, attitudes about, but anyway, and the text field is not just limited to just a line. It could be a giant, like multi-line fill-in too.
It could be a paragraph.
It could be a paragraph if you want. And the choice fields, you can set them up as just options, and then you can also you have another thing here that says add other options, and then other is like the when you have to put the forward,
right.
So you can make these very nice choice questions, and then to save you a lot of time, with any of the fields, once you make one field, you can copy it too, and then you don't have to type anything in or do it again. You can just copy. So I'm going to delete this though, because this is our 3 fields are just.
Can you do rankings like 1 to 10?
Yes. And then that. So let's let it sign in again. Okay. So we're here, and so by default, Forms collects the responses in. Let me show you a better one. Forms collects the responses in a tab here called Responses. And what it does is it gives you how many responses, how long did it take them complete on average, and then are the responses still open to be able to respond to? And that's what this active means, is people can still fill out the form, because you can set a time limit on the form too. Like after so much time it expires and you can't fill it in anymore. It's closed. And then what it does is it collects all the data.
Right.
And then it also then gives you a nice Excel spreadsheet of the data too. Like I think it is a CSV, but it's a nice Excel spreadsheet and it'll compile all the data for you. Pretty neat, right? But there's a way to supercharge that and make it a little easier for you too, having to go like
Easier,
yes, especially in the way of collecting the data.
okay.
So in our first form here, Suzy and Joe 1,
Right.
this is a form that emails you the results.
Yes.
So here's our form,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to fill out you and your email. Which is today. And then so then when the form user hits submit, you get this nice thing that was submitted. This is all customizable. But what's going to happen now? Here's the email. So then now here's the email of the form responses. So you could actually program this with Power Automate to actually know, okay, somebody hit a form response. So then now collect the response in the form, but then also now email it to me too, so I know that somebody did it. Or I want to collect the data for some other reason, or I'm going to forward the emails. We did this for a client for conference evaluations. We set up the conference eval in forms, and then we just sent it to, I think it was the director of the group.
Right.
Anytime somebody submitted an evaluation, she received an email and we just formatted a nice email for her. And the data was just sent right to her. Like we didn't have to do anything after we set it up.
I am almost speechless. This is so fun.
So this is a real simple example of, okay, you could get notified right away with the form data and then actually have the form data be sent to you at the same time.
And it can collect everybody's in one so that you know.
Yeah, so it collects all the data no matter what, and then the way that the Power Automate is set up is wrong one. This is the one. Do you remember when we talked about when we did the video for our PDP stuff and eval stuff, that there was so we used Power Automate, and it was when somebody started their eval that was the trigger for it to start running and do its things. Well, this is the same way. So Power Automate in this flow here is saying when a new response is submitted, so it saw that somebody hit submit on the form, and that was the trigger. So then it collected all the data, and then it made a nice, you can actually there's an action to send an email automatically, and that's what we did. And it's a nicely formatted email of what we just saw a second ago. And so Power Automate just does all the work for you. Pretty neat. But then there's another. This is like an infomercial now, but wait, there's more, you know? Yeah, so this is like an infomercial. So there's another way. There's a third way that you can do with the form data and Power Automate is you could actually put it in the lists. So this is because email is fine, it's great, whatever, but lists now has like the power where, this is a great example of, people filling out a form to get an appointment for something.
Yes.
Now you get all that data in the list, because now what if other people need the information?
Right.
So share the list, or have it as a list that's for the group. And then you can assign things to people, you can put a status to it, you can attach files to the list items. So just from that simple form of maybe asking like 5 questions, you could then shove it into lists. And then now you have this like collaborative, system.
You have this table.
You have this table of data.
Where you're all meeting.
You're all meeting and you're all like passing.
On your own time.
Yeah, and you could do it on your own time, or you can set up lists to notify you when something happens. So let me just show you real quick on this one. So this is now Suzy and Joe 2, and this is the one. This is the one that will go directly into lists. And the way it works is that all these, it knows all these fields. You just have to basically tell it, okay, what is your name? is now the name field in lists, and what is your
Right.
email is now
Right.
you just have to like map them together and point them together. So you hit submit. Thanks, your response was submitted. We go back to the list and I just hit refresh here, and there you are, and it's right in. And it just does it all by, it's very, very cool because because now that you've taken lists, you can do so many things with lists, all from just a simple form that you did in, 3 seconds or 5 minutes, really.
My mind is racing 1,000 miles an hour because I'm thinking of all the applications.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the flow in Power Automate to do the list, to add to the list is very similar to the email. All we do is we've removed the last item that said send email and instead said create item in lists. And then all we do is then we just say like what field in the list equals what field in the form. And that's it. Hit save and then test it and then run it and you're good.
You are a genius.
So,
I mean, you know everything about Microsoft Teams and it makes work collaboratively so easy.
It's the collaboration part that's the biggest deal. That's the biggest thing I push on people is that you can have an Excel spreadsheet, you can share it with like 12 people, you could, share it in OneDrive and make everybody go to it, or, there's a better way now. There's just better ways because lists can do, even just having it send an email to you is a giant leap because you can at least just have like it completely fully automated. You just set up your form and say, okay, I'm done. Let it just send me emails. But then if you want to take it to the next step and really turn it into a truly collaborative platform, because like we talked in lists from a few weeks ago, you can share that list with other people.
Right.
So if you have like external people that need to see that, because not everyone is going to be in the perfect world of in your team within the 4 walls of the company or your house or whatever, that data can get shared with other people, and not just the whole list. You could actually just share individual items if you need to. So now you've made it where you have one place that's like the master true record of data.
Another OneNote.
It's like another. It is like where you use OneNote to keep all your notes. You've got this list, just for our example, this list of people that are submitting interest, or we're going to have appointments with them or whatever. Now you have it all in one place. And then to take it to another. This is, again, very simple, 3 columns, whatever, but you could start, you can set it up that you could have other columns here too that would say, okay, who am I going to assign this to? Or I need to put a status on here, like, okay, where is it at in the flow or something? And you don't need complicated systems. You don't, and you don't need complicated spreadsheets, that's for sure. But you don't need complicated systems to do a lot of work. And that's something that, there's lots and lots of solutions out there that are marketed and cost a lot of money, and they're very complicated. And why?
Great.
So that is Forms today. And
I love it.
And then it's taking Forms and all that data and moving it to other places.
Making it useful.
Making it very, very useful for the user.
Nice, Joe.
So I'm Joseph Markovich from JCMA.
I'm Suzy Vance.
And I just blew Suzy's mind with Forms, email, and lists.
He did.